Hello, hello there, and welcome to the Soul Care Podcast, where we are going to be having real conversations about faith, healing, mental wellness. My name is Oluseye, and I have here with me today my amazing Natalie.
Hey,
Hmm.
I'm Natalie, and as you know, we are therapists here at Soul Care Counseling, and it's our absolute honor to be your co host as we talk about this very important topic in this month of mental health, but also celebrating mothers.
Yeah, absolutely. It's May.
Yeah,
May is just a beautiful month. We get
it
to
is.
celebrate mothers.
Yeah.
And we also get to talk about what is dear to our hearts. Here at Soul Care, we're going to be talking about maternal mental health. And
Mhm.
it's a beautiful way to spotlight this conversation on mental health,
Yeah.
especially around the Black community.
Yes.
And this
Yes.
topic of maternal mental health is a topic that sometimes we don't talk about enough, but it
Absolutely.
desperately needs our attention. It's something that we need to spotlight over and over again because, as you
Absolutely.
know, mothers are important in society,
Yep.
and whatever we can do to support each other as moms, we are here for it.
I
Okay,
agree.
how are we doing this today, Natalie?
Ooh. Well, I think what we need to talk about, I think what most of us, we often talk about just the highlight of being a mother, but what we don't really talk about is the struggles that come after becoming
Hmm.
a mother. And so
Yeah,
I think it's important for us to look at the postpartum struggles that
yeah,
all women face.
yeah.
Um, as we know, many mothers go through postpartum depression, they
Hmm.
go through anxiety.
Yeah.
And just even if we want to compound this issue, just looking at systemic issues that impact not only just mothers but Black mothers.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. Sometimes, we're here trying to plug the leaves, but we need to talk about the roots. The things that are
Absolutely,
ingrained in society that makes it harder for moms, especially Black mothers, to be able to
absolutely,
truly live wholesome lives,
yeah,
especially around, the idea of postpartum, recovering from childbirth,
yes,
caregiving, all the different things that are happening,
yep,
with the mother's body, even her
yep,
mind when
yep.
she
So much
when she has a
changes.
baby, whether it's 1 year or 2 years after, it's still
Ah,
like this never-ending journey.
ah,
And especially because we are therapists and we're also women of color,
yep,
we also work closely with women, mothers also from diverse
absolutely,
backgrounds, and we've seen firsthand how maternal mental health is impacted by more than just hormones. Because sometimes, like, oh, it's just the hormones, it's just the hormones speaking, but sometimes it's tied to culture. Sometimes it's tied
absolutely,
to trauma. Some of us have experienced certain things that make it even harder
yep,
for people to really thrive in motherhood. And even
yep,
support systems, whether the availability or inavailability of the right support systems for
yeah,
moms, and just even we talk about the systemic issues, sometimes even systemic inequality makes it
absolutely,
harder for moms to truly live that wholesome experience of motherhood, affecting
yeah.
their mental health and we're going to talk about that a little bit today. Hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think what I love about this conversation, I mean, I don't know about any other mother out there, but I mean, my daughter is 9 turning 10 and I still haven't got I still don't even know what sleeping in is.
Exactly. I know.
We talk about that postpartum, immediately when the baby is done, but I still don't get
Mm.
a good night's sleep. I think sleeping in for me is maybe 8 o'clock,
Yes. Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
if that. And so
Exactly.
the onward um trajectory of being a mother, it never ends and it just happens in dimensions. And I think
Mm.
that what's important today is to recognize just the importance and the highlight of how Black mothers are truly impacted within this area. I was
Yeah.
reading this website according to successful Black parenting, and it was saying that almost 40% of Black women experience maternal mental health symptoms, which is nearly
Wow.
twice the rate of all women. And also 29 to 44% of Black women experience postpartum depression.
Wow. That's huge.
That's big.
I
That's
mean,
big.
40% is like half of that's like 4 in 10 women. Like
Exactly.
that's a lot.
Exactly.
That's a lot.
Exactly.
That's a
Exactly.
lot. And
And
sometimes you just wonder, yeah, like, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
wonder,
and,
like,
and the
why?
sad thing is many of them are suffering in silence.
Yeah, that's it. It can be a silent burden.
Hmm.
Sometimes, especially if you're in the
Mm,
Black community, we've
mm.
been taught to be strong.
Yeah.
You are the mom, you have to be there for everybody else. We've been taught to push through the pain, just suck it up. You're the nurturer, you should be the strong one.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're the provider, you should be
Yeah.
the backbone to your family. And sometimes it means that a lot of mothers are suffering in silence. And suffering in
Absolutely.
silence, they can't share some of the ways they feel. They feel that if I spoke about it,
Yeah.
how people think, like, what would they think about me? Would I look like I'm weak? How would it feel? That kind of thing. It's this vicious cycle of we don't talk about it because it's gonna make me feel weak. You feel weaker because you don't talk about it, and it's
Yes.
just this, yeah. And so a lot of people are suffering in silence, suffering there, not being able to share how they're feeling, and some people really feel discouraged. There's a lot of pressure to
Hmm.
deliver a certain way.
Hmm.
As a mom, you don't want anybody to see you cry. You want to
Hmm.
be there for your children. You're carrying all the burdens,
Yeah.
but there's no one to carry yours for you.
Wow.
And yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. And even just thinking culturally, like we often, like, I don't know about you, but up until now, I don't even think my I think it still baffles me how my parents or even grandparents treat their grandchildren in
Yeah.
light of parents themselves. And
Yep.
so I lead to this point, like I felt like I didn't exist when my daughter was
Exactly.
am I even in the room?
Yep. I know.
I was like, you
I
know
know.
what? Jasmine could pretty much burn down the house. And you were like, oh, it's all right. It's
Oh, it's all
okay.
right.
But it's me, it's something else. And I feel like
I
culturally, even
know.
just bringing that back, that
Yeah.
we celebrate the baby, but how much do we celebrate the mother's
The
healing?
mom. I know. I know.
Do we
You go to the
highlight that?
hospital. A mom has a baby, and then everyone's like, "Oh, let's see the baby. Let's see the baby." Nobody's checking on
And the mom's there with a
how's
diaper
the
on,
mom doing. Is she okay?
exhausted.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How
Yeah.
much do we
Yeah.
really highlight what the mom needs?
Mm.
Her self care.
Mm-hmm.
When we
Mm-hmm.
think about factors that are important in postpartum thriving, let's call it
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
we have to look at things like social support.
Mm-hmm.
How much support are mothers
Yeah.
getting? How about their self care practices?
Exactly. Yeah.
How are we caring?
Yeah.
One thing I admire about Jess, and she was pretty open about it, was having a postpartum plan.
Mhm. Exactly. Like, what am
Having
I
that
gonna
whole
do
plan.
after this baby?
Yeah. How are things going to actually look? What do I have put in place?
Yeah.
Oftentimes it's just like a car. Why wait till it breaks down
Mm-hmm.
when you can have prevention? Not saying it's
Mm-hmm.
perfect,
Yeah.
but to
But at
really
least you have a plan.
consider exactly what tent pegs. Let's put it. The Lord gave me
Mm-hmm.
this a while back last year. He said, what do tent pegs do? And I said, well, Lord, they hold the frame of the tent. And He said to
Yes.
me, He was talking about my physical health,
Hmm.
and getting back into exercise. But He said, what tent pegs are you going to put into place that are
Hmm.
going to help uphold the tent? And as
Yes.
our temple, we're not just a means to an end. And I think
Exactly.
even
Yeah.
historically, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to, I didn't think I was going to go there, but let's just touch that one moment. Just
Mm-hmm.
historically, even coming from a place where our doing
Hmm.
was secondary to our being,
Exactly. Yep.
where
Yep.
we were baby could have come from a history of literally being just a means to an end
To
for
an
work,
end.
for
Yeah.
having children
Yeah.
historically and within slavery. Sometimes that mentality has still seeped
He's
down
still
into
with
our
us.
culture,
Yes.
that we can even find it difficult to see the importance in our being.
Hmm.
That we're not just here to make children,
Hmm.
but we are, and even having our identity
Yeah.
and knowing our identity outside of motherhood.
Yes. Yes.
I'm blown
Exactly.
by how many mothers that I sit with, that they 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 had these dreams, like they were
Hmm.
maybe preachers. I've talked to many mothers, and I'd
Mm-hmm.
be so surprised how much times I've got to remind them, those dreams that you had on that shelf,
Exactly. Yeah.
that that God gave to you, that
Hmm.
you drafted, that you
Hmm.
planned, that doesn't stop just because you became a mother.
Exactly. you still have to hold space. Like we
Exactly.
said, we're not just a means to an end. We are here to hold space, to occupy, and
Yeah.
actually do, just
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
but a lot
Yeah.
of people I find, are still stuck in their minds. They
Yep.
think that the sign of a strong black woman is
Yeah.
their ability to hold it all together and show a certain, reflect a certain way to society, to culture. Like people are
Yep.
looking like, oh, all these things are there. So they are trying so hard to hold it together.
Mm.
And the image that comes to mind as I'm speaking is
Yeah.
imagine trying to use a to use a stapler, staple pins to hold a dress that you're going to wear to a ball.
Mm. Mm.
Like in the
Mm.
moment when you are using staple pins to hold them together, they seem like a good idea.
My
It looks
God.
like it's beautiful until you put it on,
Yeah.
until the pressures of life
Whew.
impact on the dress,
Mm.
until you try to walk, try to take the first step,
Mm.
until you're trying to dance on the dance floor. And then everything starts to unravel. What looked like it was fine is not fine because it's just staple pins. You didn't do a good job sewing or
Yeah.
putting it together.
Yeah.
It's just staple pins holding together. And that's kind of like what happens when women, moms, caregivers are in this space where, let me just be there for everybody else. Let me just care for everybody else. Let me just show up for everybody else.
Yep.
And then you neglect those 10 pegs that are supposed to hold you up,
Whew.
right? And then you just start to unravel gradually.
Mm.
Sometimes you can't even unravel in public. So you're unraveling at home, in the bathroom.
Woo.
You're shedding these tears nobody can see.
Your
There's all,
spouse.
all these things happening, right?
Everybody
You
else gets the
unravel.
unraveling.
Exactly. That's it. Just keep unraveling because you're using staple pins to hold them together. Staple pins are not for for hard use. They are not for this kind of extreme use. It's just to hold paper together. But a lot of us are treating, our self care and everything as though we're not going to do any rigorous activity. It doesn't work like that.
My God.
you know and
Mm.
we're talking about the strong black woman image, and we're thinking about the fact that even when a black woman comes to you as another black woman and tells you, I don't feel good, what do we
Yeah.
what do we say to them? Most, I mean, let's even assume there were no therapists, right? As the average black woman to come to
Yep.
you like, oh, just you just push through, you'll be okay, right? And studies have shown that for the black women, we are likely to have our pain ignored more than any other group of people.
Yep.
We are likely to have our symptoms dismissed, our
Bingo.
concerns overlooked
Yep.
in medical settings, everywhere else,
Yep.
even during childbirth, even during
Yep.
postpartum care, because we have this image of strong black woman. You should be
Yep.
strong. Nothing
Exactly.
should be wrong with you. You
Yep.
should be fine.
Yep.
And these things are there, but a lot of us are even afraid to speak up because even when you do speak up, how many people really give you the solution, or it's just staple pins they give you? Just hold it together a little bit longer.
Oof.
Staple pins right here. Yeah, that's it. Staple
Enough.
pins. Mm,
Enough with that's why I appreciate conversations like this, and I appreciate spaces. And
yeah.
you're right. You said something so powerful. You're in public, and you apparently, I don't know how many clients I've sat with that
Mm,
seemingly look like the staple pins have got their dress all
yeah.
together in public,
Yeah.
but behind closed doors, they're unraveling in front of their
Yes.
kids. And we got to understand this. If you're not well, your family is
Yeah.
probably the first recipient
Exactly.
of
Yeah.
you not being well. Your
Yeah.
husband is the recipient, or your wife is the recipient. In
Yes.
this case, we're talking about mothers. So obviously the husband is the recipient, and your children
Mm,
are the recipient of you not taking care of yourself. And
yes.
this is why it's so important for Black women to receive the
Mm,
support as a
yes.
mother.
Yes.
I was looking at, the CDC report, and according to it, 30% of Black women report mistreatment during their pregnancy. And as you said,
Mm,
Oluseye, either receiving no response when they've
mm,
requested for help. I know my mom personally, not necessarily pregnancy, but post surgery,
mm.
was calling almost half the night for a nurse to come to her, and she
Wow.
ignored her, and she was in pain for
Wow.
most of the night. And I was like, and this was during COVID, so I wasn't in the hospital because God knows if I was in the hospital,
Yep.
that would have been a different
That will not
case.
that will not be the case.
That wouldn't have been going. And it also spoke about 30% of these women are more likely to be shouted at,
Hmm.
scolded at, not
Wow.
having physical privacy protected,
Wow.
being threatened with withholding treatment or made to accept unwanted treatments. And you know what this does? All this does is lead to a mistrust in the medical professional,
Exactly. That's it.
which further adds to and contributes to heightened stress and
Yes.
anxiety that
Yes.
further perpetuates this sense of they don't want to go to the
Mm.
hospital. Like they actually have
Exactly.
anxious. I've spoken to mothers who are literally anxious to go to the hospital and go
Yeah.
speak to their gynecologist
Hmm.
because of the way that they've been treated.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. You feel like nobody is listening to me, kind of thing. Like, and and it's like this cycle that never ends. So we have the issue around if you speak up, they're going to dismiss you.
Yep.
Okay. And it's already bad enough that in the
Yep.
culture that we are in, many Black communities don't even like to speak around things that has to do with health, like even especially mental health. There's stigma around these
Yep.
things. And then even so now you get the courage to speak up a little bit and then you are dismissed. And then it's just going to make you keep quiet even more because you're going to be like,
Exactly.
there's no point. There's no point of talking about this, right?
Exactly.
Because nobody's going to listen to me. And
Hmm.
that's why sometimes you still see that mistrust in the space.
Exactly.
With this person, listen to me. How would they view me? And I was having a conversation the other day, with someone, and just like a friend, and she was saying, I have this appointment, and I need to advocate for myself and my family, but I
Yep.
still feel that maybe I shouldn't tell them everything. And I'm like, these are the people that are going to help you.
Yep.
If you don't tell them everything, they
Yep.
cannot help you.
Yep.
Do you just imagine that? Like this person is needing help, but they are afraid of speaking up because they still feel like they're going to be judged by the person listening to them. And this
Hmm.
person who I'm speaking with is someone who's familiar with with this sector. So I'm like, if you who
Yeah.
works in the sector feels uncomfortable sharing about this kind of thing, how much more people who don't have an idea about the sector, who don't know how to
Exactly.
navigate the healthcare
Exactly.
system,
Yep.
how will they be able to even speak up and advocate for themselves or for their family?
Yep.
And I'm like, wow, these things need to be spoken about.
Yep.
And even I mean, let's not even go into the aspect of the impact of faith. Because when we with faith, it's another dynamic in the mix where we have to be like, I'm strong all the time.
Mm,
You know,
mm,
God is good all the time. And we
mm.
hide the issues under all of this Christianese and under all these, I want to feel good and all of those things. You don't talk to anybody because you think people are going to look at you like, you can't really be a good Christian if you are struggling with mental health. Yeah. And there's all those
Let's
things.
let's add one. Let's add one further. I once had a client who told
Hmm,
me, and just bear with me.
hmm,
She absolutely loves her child,
hmm.
but she doesn't completely love motherhood. Woo!
Wow.
When she
Wow.
said that to me, I said, "Oh my gosh,
Hmm, wow.
those things can both coexist."
Hmm,
Especially as individuals like myself, like a single mother, you can love your child. God
hmm,
knows I love my child. She's everything.
hmm.
But navigating motherhood as a single mother,
It's tough. Yeah.
that is, yeah,
Yeah. It's
that's,
tough.
there are days I'm like, God, this is, yeah,
This is hard.
yeah,
Yeah.
this mad hard. I need extra strength. And I think
Hmm,
that as it relates to faith, again, it's those staple pins and
hmm.
those opportunities to have honest conversations with
Yes.
individuals like you and I,
Yeah.
and with our
Exactly.
colleagues, where we can say, in one hand, I love my child, but in the other hand,
Yes.
this
I'm
kind of
I'm
stuff
not
right
I'm
now.
not really enjoying this motherhood thing. Yeah.
I'm not liking it right now. I had a
Hmm,
mother one time feeling so
hmm,
guilty because she
hmm,
couldn't wake up like her normal time for devotions with God. She was
hmm,
beating herself because, and I had to stop her and I'm like, how you navigated your devotional time with the Lord as a single
hmm.
woman is going
Mm.
to be
It's going to be
different.
different when you're a
As a
mother.
mother, you've got to be
That's a
willing.
lot different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're evolving. You've got
Hmm.
to evolve and recognize this is a evolved version of you,
Yeah.
and it takes time to adjust. Maybe your devotions look like when you're putting your children to
Hmm.
bed at night
Yeah.
and finally you can breathe. I mean, half the time I pass out, but I'm saying maybe at
Exactly.
night you get some zeal and vigor.
Yeah.
Because
Hmm.
after I'm done sessions and I help my daughter with homework and I say, Lord, I'm going to read your word for a bit. I'm going to
Hmm.
pray. Oh, I fall
And
asleep
then
with the
you wake
lights
up the
on
next
me,
morning to the
my
alarm.
mouth half open at 2 a.m. And I'm like, what happened?
When did I
What
get here? What
happened,
happened?
Lord?
Oh my
Oh
God.
my gosh, the life of a
Hmm.
mother. But the space to hold these very hard parts. And I think this is a good moment to
Hmm.
just tap in there and say,
Hmm.
like, you know, I think Alicia, you can say, if you're having a hard time navigating life
Yeah.
as a mother,
Yeah.
and if you find yourself struggling, if you find yourself between these two fine lines and you feel
Yeah.
like you're alone, can I just
Exactly.
tell you that you're not?
Hmm.
You're in
Yep.
good company
Yep. You
and
are.
you are validated in the
Hmm.
everything that you're experiencing.
Yeah.
And if you need the space to just say three simple words, I
Yeah.
need help.
Help. Yeah. That's it. I need help.
Don't
I
be
need
afraid.
help. Yeah.
Don't be
Yeah.
ashamed.
Yeah. That's
Those are
it.
words that we need to hear within our community so much more.
Yes.
I need
Need help.
help.
Yeah.
Log on.
Absolutely. You know, I
www
was
dot.
just thinking, what you just said now, I need help. Three simple words. And
Yeah,
it's so hard for
yeah,
us to ask for support. It's so hard for us. Like we have a point to prove,
yeah.
trying to prove a point to someone who nobody who's people don't care. Like just do your thing, but we just feel like we need to prove a point. Like I can carry this all by myself. But like you said, if you're listening to this, you're watching this, just know there's no guilt, no shame in asking for help.
The
One of the things
most.
that I
Mhm.
love about soul care is the fact that we are therapists and we're Christians, right? So
That's
what that
right.
means is we're telling you we're here to support you, with all the psycho spiritual things that you need, but
Yeah,
we also pray. We will pray for you if we need to pray for you. Like it's
absolutely.
knowing that you can ask for help in therapy or seek help from whoever you're seeking help from, professional, whatever the person may be,
Yeah,
and know that you can still these two things can coexist. You can ask for support without feeling shame.
yeah,
You can reach out to somebody without feeling shame. You can still pray if you feel a need to. Like it's not you're not less spiritual for needing support. You're not less
absolutely.
spiritual for seeking help, for asking for someone to help you. Those two things can coexist, right? And
Absolutely.
just know that you need support. You can get the support you need if only you just ask. There are many people actually who are ready, very, very ready to help you if you just ask for help, right? And I just want to talk a little bit more about
Yeah.
what does healing look like when it comes to
Mm,
motherhood. Healing, thriving across areas of our lives, because it's almost as though people are very. I mean, people can get to the point where they're saying, "I need support, I need help,"
yeah,
um, but how do they transition from "I need help" to actually embracing?
yeah.
Because somebody can come to you and say, "I need help," and then you offer them help, and they just turn their backs.
Oh my gosh.
They turn their backs
Wow.
and they say, "Okay, I need help," but they're not receiving the help that they say they need. Right? What
Mm,
does that process of moving from "I need support, I need help" look like from that point to actually receiving the help and then healing,
mm,
going through the process of healing? Because until we stop pretending,
mm, mm,
lying to ourselves, you
mm,
know, until you're
mhm,
you're safe enough to say, you know what, I'm at my wit end.
mm,
I want to submit to the process of healing.
mm.
And then actually, because if you just say I need help and you stay on the brink of the river and you refuse to jump into where the help is going to be received, then you were just pretending. It's like you're okay. I will say it enough for people to say, okay, I've done my part. But
Right.
when you actually get to the point, you don't receive the help. Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. Mm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
It is.
That's, yeah. I definitely think mothers need the space to process,
Hmm.
to grieve,
Hmm.
to rest.
Hmm.
That's another thing in our in within our culture, rest,
Yeah. Yeah.
and to reclaim wholeness.
Hmm.
Um, I think what's easy, as I said before, for us to do is claim a role that we
Hmm.
are carrying as our whole identity.
Hmm.
And in doing that, we can so easily forget to tend to the other areas of our
Yes.
lives. For
Yes.
instance, yes, you're a mother,
Hmm.
but this is one area that I've called people on. I'm not against family vacations. I
Hmm.
think they're amazing. But at some point,
Yep.
you and your
Moms need to take
husband
theirs. Yep.
gotta, you and your husband
The
and
solo
husband
one.
alone need to go
Exactly.
place
You need to
on
take
a
your solo
trip
vacation.
just
You have to do this by
together
yourself too.
without the kids.
Yep.
Okay?
Only you by yourself.
You need a hot couple trip,
Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
To recognize that before the kids, you
Mm,
were, and
mm,
after they go on and get married and move on
mm.
with their lives,
Yeah.
so both of you will be there. And
Yes.
that is why, unfortunately, um, most divorces happen when it's the
Mm.
empty nest period,
Yep. Yep.
because those marriages, those relationships were not cultivated on a level of friendship or
Mm-hmm.
continually getting to know and evolving with your
Yeah.
partner
Yeah.
throughout the different seasons in your life, so that when the kids grow up,
Yeah.
that you will not be perfect strangers to each other. This is, I'm
Yeah.
talking about motherhood and wholeness, recognizing
Mm,
that yes, it is a difficult season, but as your child is growing,
mm.
don't neglect the part of your um your 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 role as being a wife.
Yeah. Don't.
uh Girls night,
Yeah.
having a night where you can just connect with some of your sisters
Mm.
and have them uh affirm you,
It's
speak
pouring
life
to you.
into you. Just
Yeah.
breathe.
Yeah.
Just have a night to just breathe,
Yes.
where you can take off the dirty bibs and the drool and everything that's off. I mean, the week
Exactly.
after I had Jasmine, people probably laughed. I was in church.
Yeah.
I pumped my milk and
Wow.
I left it. God bless grandparents. Let me just do shout out. God bless grandparents. They come in
Yep.
clutch. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was in church the next week. Everyone was like, didn't you just have a baby? I was like, listen,
Mm.
I don't come into the house of the Lord. I'm a loser. I need to have time to
Mm.
breathe and to be. I remember I
Absolutely.
didn't even come outside of my room. Like I remember I was just on rotation of feeding, changing,
Yes.
and sleeping. Just on rotation. I never forget my
Mm.
mom and my friend and her mom came to visit me, and she's like, you can come downstairs in the house, because there was just this confinement, like,
Yes.
and it was during wintertime that I had my daughter.
Isn't that what we call that process of pregnancy in like old English? They call it the confinement period, right? And that's what it feels like.
That's what it
You're
feels like.
alone. You're confined.
I'm telling you. The first time I was in the house, I was like, "Oh my gosh." I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have a child." I'm like, "My God, like having a new life. Like there's so many things that come along with it." And I think
Hmm.
that if mothers are not receiving that social support or
Hmm.
leaning into the things that are around them, it can feel very isolating. It
Hmm.
can feel like I am just going through this, until you come around other mothers that are saying, "You're not alone.
Hmm. Hmm.
You're not alone. You're not navigating through this alone. You don't have to navigate through this alone." And I think there is such life. I think there is such a space to breathe for us. And it's
Yes.
also good for the child.
Yes.
Because when mothers, especially in the first year, we know
Hmm.
that children are navigating secure attachment.
Hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
When mothers are experiencing extreme stress and anxiousness, that gets transferred to your
Yes.
child.
Yeah,
And then
it
they
does.
grow up,
It does.
maybe not
It does.
even knowing how to really properly regulate their emotions,
Hmm.
learning effectively,
Hmm.
or maybe being able to know social cues around, like
Exactly.
there's so many things that can be impacted in a child, but that secure attachment that first year, it is so
It's so
important
important.
because that's when a mother is forming a bond with their child.
Yes. And
You've got to
and
take
these
care of
mothers,
yourself.
some mothers are struggling, and then it's hard. Yeah, it's hard.
You've got to take care of yourself, mothers. I'm praying that somebody's really hearing this loud
Hmm.
and clear today.
Yes.
The Bible says, cast your cares upon the Lord. Why?
Hmm.
Because
Cares
he
for you,
cares for
for you.
you.
Yes, he
He
does.
cares for you. We care for you.
Absolutely.
We
Absolutely.
care for you.
We do. And if there's someone else who's listening and you have any mother in your space, you be that person's village.
Yeah.
Just commit to the process of being there for another mother. Don't even just ask them what do you need. Just do something that you think you can do for them. Just show up for them. Offer to support them. Offer to help them.
Yep.
Be their safe space.
Yep.
And don't judge. Because sometimes I'm just looking at people, I'm like, why are we so judgmental? Someone
Mm.
homeschools, you judge them. Someone has their children in public school, you
Mm.
judge them. Someone
Mm.
someone has decides to breastfeed their child, you judge them. Someone says, "Oh,
Mhm.
bottle only." But we just keep judging from
My
these
God.
two
Yeah.
sides of the divide.
That part.
You be that safe space for a mother. Don't be the person who judges a mother. Don't be the person who is, making them struggle even more.
Yep.
Just continue to offer help. Listen to them.
Yep.
Affirm them. Be
Yep.
their safe space.
Yep.
Encourage mothers around you to rest. Say, can I take this off you while
Yep.
you take a breather?
Yep.
Because moms deserve all the love they can get, the support. And if a mom also listening to this, like Natalie was saying, just give yourself some space. You deserve to rest. Don't feel guilty if you need to rest. And of course, um, you are here for you as soul care. We're here for you. Um, Book a session. Talk to someone.
Please do.
It's yeah.
www.thesoulcarecounselor.com.
Soulcarecounselor.com. Book a
We are here.
session. We are here to support you. Don't feel like you need to navigate this by yourself.
Yeah.
Don't feel that you have to navigate this, struggle through these things yourself. We're here to work alongside you, whether you're a new mom, old OG mom who's been there for years,
Yep.
whatever the case may be, just know that we are here to support you. Don't feel like you have to navigate because every season of motherhood is different and there are different things there that you may be struggling with. Know that we're here for you. All right. So as we celebrate this month, and even into the other months of the year, let's not stop supporting moms, caregivers. Let's keep advocating for those spaces where moms feel seen, feel heard, feel supported, in body, mind, and soul, spirit as well. And just know that if you can be the one person who's that next mom safe space, she'll
Mm.
really thank you for that. Yeah, she will thank you for that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. And I think one thing that I recognize, even within our community and as a therapist, is that we heal by each other's stories.
Yes,
We
yes.
heal in community. I think you said something really powerful, Oluseye, before that we judge a lot. And
Mm.
I think as mothers, and as Christian mothers, let me pinpoint this, that God has given you a specific blueprint as women,
Mm.
and as mothers, for your household,
Yeah,
for your marriage,
yeah,
and for your children.
yeah.
And that blueprint, if the Lord has told you to homeschool your children,
Mm.
homeschool your children.
Exactly.
God has told you to send your child to a particular school at whatnot. I know the Lord told me from when I was pregnant with Jasmine,
Mm.
God was giving me instructions concerning my child when she was in my womb because I prayed over her. And
Yeah.
God was telling me things even before she came out my womb.
Mm.
And I think that that is the stable place that we have to rest. Like, what
Yes.
has the Lord told you concerning your
Yeah.
child and their journey? The Bible says train up the child in the way they should go, not the way you think, but what is God speaking to you concerning your child?
Mm. Mm.
And be bold and unapologetic about it.
Yes. Yes.
Don't step back from how he's been speaking to you about raising your son and your
Mm.
daughter and your
Mm.
family.
Mm. Mm.
Um, yeah,
I think
that,
that's it.
yeah,
That's the summary of it.
yeah,
If you are not going to struggle, don't bother about what people think.
yeah,
Just do you based on what God has given to you as an instruction.
yeah,
Great. And
yeah.
that's it.
I love this.
That's it.
I'll just end by leaving this one scripture because, oftentimes we see God as a father, but the Lord was
Mm.
just bringing me the scripture, Isaiah 66:13. As
Mm.
one whom his mother comforts, so I will comfort you,
Mm.
and you will be comforted in
Mm.
Jerusalem. And so we see
Mm.
a beautiful maternal side of the father, that as you are comforting your children, which we do as mothers, that's an innate instinct that we have been given, that the Lord is also comforting you. He is
Mm.
El Rohi, and he sees you
He
today.
does.
You are not
He
alone.
does. He
You are
does.
seen. You are
So
seen in
beautiful.
your nakedness of who you are. You do not need to hide. You do not need to cover yourself with fig leaves because the Father knows you. What comfort is that?
So beautiful.
And so today, I tell you as a mother that you are not weak. You are not alone.
Mm.
You are not broken. You are simply human.
So beautiful.
But you're not alone
You're not
because the
alone.
Father and all of heaven is on your side.
Yes. The Lord sees you. He
He
sees you.
sees every
He
part of
sees
you
you.
and he cares about you.
So good. I find it interesting that the place in the Bible where that script, that where that in the name of the Lord El Rohi was used, the
Mm,
Lord who sees you was used to refer to. He was speaking about Hagar,
yeah.
a
Yep.
mother.
That's right.
So just know that God is speaking directly to you for a mom listening to this.
Come
The
on.
Lord who sees you
Yeah.
was you. That was
Woo.
Hagar's anchor. The
Yeah.
Lord who sees you. So
Yeah.
beautiful. Okay, this has been so good. I really loved this episode today because it spoke to me as a mom. I mean, personally, I'm living this episode, with
Yeah.
this reminder that God sees me. He
Yeah.
cares about me. He
Yeah.
loves me. He delights in me. And if you're a
Mm,
mom also listening to this, we're expecting that you share with other moms, like you, share with another caregiver who
yeah.
needs this reminder that God loves
Absolutely.
them, that He sees them, that He cares about them. And of course,
Mm,
don't forget to connect with us at thesoulcarecounselor.com. Follow us on Instagram, the Soul Care
yep.
Therapist, for more
Yep.
support, for more resources. And until the next time, we're going to bring this episode back to you, another episode
Yes.
back to you. We are here to support you if you ever need any support. Until next time, keep caring for your soul
Mm.
because it's the most powerful tool, the most powerful gift that you can give to yourself and to those you love and those who love you. Until next time, it's bye from us. God bless you, and we'll see you. Bye bye.
And remember, it is the will of the Father that you
Yes,
are well. So go ahead, live, glow, grow, and thrive. Until next
absolutely.
time,
Till next time. Bye, everyone. Bye bye.
take care.